Thank you for being here with us today. Today I have Dr. Charles Coleman with us. Dr. Coleman, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
What ward do you represent?
Ward 2, Position 1.
Okay.
That ward had an open position, but really I had no intentions of running. I was persuaded by some of the city council persons and plus some people in the community, particularly my wife had made several statements. Well, you've been doing this all along without doing resolutions,
Right.
Without actually participating in resolution or voting. So it might be a good position for you to try to do something in the community.
Absolutely. Now, a common I say that some confusion can come from the understanding of what Ward 2 is. It's a little different than what most people think.
Right.
Can you explain just a little bit? You don't have to go into specific details about the boundaries, but...
I do want to kind of talk about the boundaries just a little bit, because when I became a city council person, I didn't really know what the boundaries were. So I personally investigated what the boundaries, and actually from Johnson west, from Patrick west to Magnolia east and west, and then say the borders of the west side of Jonesboro. And I found out here lately that part of it is West Nelton, that area.
Right.
So it's a lot bigger area than it's participated.
Absolutely. Now, how long have you served on the city council?
As of December this month, it's been 1 year.
Okay.
It's a 4-year term. I plan hopefully to do, I always say the best I can. I have a statement I always tell people, never confuse the will of the majority with the will of God. And I think at this particular junction of being in Jonesboro 20 years, it was, even though I've been participating without being an official person, but working in the community is just part of a service, and I just think that's what a person needs to do, especially if you love the town.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, in the beginning, when
Right.
you first decided, you mentioned just a second ago that that there was an open position, and
Right.
You were told to do it.
Right.
But what was your motivation to want to run for city
My
council?
motivation, we have a infrastructural issue on the north side of town. And when I mean infrastructure, we don't have the businesses, everything that we need to actually participate in for as food, for as business concerned, is really south of Johnson. That's an issue. We need more participated businesses on the north side of town. Whatever type of business, whether it's restaurant, hardware, lumber, this type of, we don't have those. And I had been fighting, talking to certain banks, won't be unprofessional to call names, but I've talked to certain, and each time they would actually agree with my statement that the infrastructure on the north side of town is not conducive to a lot of these things, especially has to do with the drainage system. A lot of people, I think even before I got on city council, there was a lot of drainage system on east, west, south of Jonesboro, but we have also a drainage problem on the north side, even a flood. And so one of my goals was to find out exactly what the flood issues were, to talk about the infrastructure. I had mentioned it to the mayor previously about trying to talk to Walmarts, having a Walmarts. I've talked to a banker about possibly having a bank put on the north side, particularly on 141. And each time I've talked with these individuals, their first statement was the infrastructure. So how do you work on the infrastructure? Well, you start building up the land. That's number one. And so those are some of my primary goals for actually running. I'm not sure how successful I'm going to be, but I'm going to fight that. And in those issues, you don't have to fight openly.
Sure.
You have a lot of meetings, and you talk to people about this, and you get other ideas. So it's not just my idea. There's other people have ideas too.
Absolutely. I'm sure the people that you represent, as well as the city of Jonesboro, are very happy with the fight that you're fighting for your ward, essentially. So that's what made you do it. What keeps you going? You've been in it for a year now.
Well,
what keeps you going on a day-to-day basis?
What keeps me going, people are still asking questions. They're asking questions that they particularly, and I need to be real careful with this statement, that they couldn't ask some of the other council persons. Most of the people that talk to me now still make the statements that they're still intimidated by the city council. And they want to come forward to talk, so they use my mouth to talk with the city council. My wife says I have a act of talking with people and instead of to people. Mm-hmm. And most of the people will make the same reverse statement. They were being tired of talk to rather than talk with. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times when you talk to a person, they shut up. They don't voice, they don't give you what they really think. Mm-hmm. And so they're able to talk with me, and I listen. Mm-hmm. I'm a very good listener. Yes, I run my mouth a lot too. But I also, as my wife, so I always say what my wife tells people, that well, he talks a lot, but he listens a lot.
Absolutely, yeah.
And in listening, I'm finding out some things and how to do some things. And you don't always have to do things so that the media can see you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I do a lot of things without the media, do a lot of things behind the media, doing things in the community, talking with different representatives, state representatives. I'm very pleased to have some kind of connection with some of the state representatives and talk with them about it. Excuse me. But things are happening. A lot of things are happening that probably won't come out immediately, but they will come out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you mentioned things are happening, and you know, one of the things that I've seen over the past 10 years that I've been here is Jonesboro has evolved since 2001 to now.
Absolutely.
Just over the past 2 years or 3 years, you know, put a cap on it. Past 3-4 years, do you think the interpretation of how the city has evolved is a good or bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. I have to actually just give credit to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes we want to take personal credit for stuff, but you know, God allows you to be in position to work with other people besides yourself. The mayor has done, as far as I'm concerned, has been great. If I had to plug any part of the people in the city, it would be the facilities. Mm-hmm. That give you an example, the garbage workers. I always use the term garbage workers. I hope that doesn't offend anybody. Mm-hmm. But they do a great job of keeping the city clean. Ross Leonard just actually does a fantastic job. Mm-hmm. I'm also pretty prejudiced behind the fire department. Mm-hmm. You know, they're trying to keep a code area where that Jonesboro is safe. Mm-hmm. Jonesboro as a whole is just a fine place to live. It's just that we have issues like any other city.
Absolutely.
But as this town becomes a metropolitan area, mm-hmm. It's really ready to really open up mm-hmm. and do some things that maybe some of the larger cities are doing. But as a whole, the city is being facilitatedly ran not by the city council. Mm-hmm. It's been facilitated, ran by the peoples of Jonesboro. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes politicians get confused mm-hmm. that they think they run something. No, they can't run anything without the people saying, yes, we want these things. So we have a variety and ethnicity in this community of all types of people saying, look, this is what we want. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to be satisfied until it's done. Right. So that's positive.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, you mentioned that the cities is changing and growing, and it's a good thing. Right. And of course, we're just like any other city, we have problems. Right. And one of the things that you hear a lot around town is, you know, Jonesboro is outgrowing its infrastructure. Right. Things such as flooding, things such as traffic, or you know, the police force or whatnot. What do you see for the future of Jonesboro, and what are you going to continue to fight?
Well, you know, one of the things that we have a good grant writer mm-hmm. for the city that's actually participating and getting grants to help the infrastructure. Right now, we're working on, from the north side perspective, which is actually going to be a Jonesboro perspective. Mm-hmm. I don't particularly like the word north side because I'm a Jonesborian. Right. And I think all peoples need to think that that means when you're a Jonesborian, you're going to fight for the whole city and not just one part of the city. Absolutely. But in this north side initiative, the grants that's being written, the follow-up for being maybe connected with Rockefeller Foundation will probably enhance some finances that we can have to actually work on this infrastructure. We have traffic problem. The traffic problem at this point, we bought new software to help regulate that type of issue. And it takes time. Time you've got to change, it takes time. I don't like that statement, even though I'm making it. But that's just the way it is. The thing about the time element, you just don't stand still waiting. You still move. You still get in there and punch and you fight and you talk to the legislature, you talk to the governor, you talk to the mayor. And I think that's part of what my service to the community is making sure that I keep these people awake. You know,
Absolutely.
by making the phone calls and having separate meetings, hidden meetings, whatever you want to call it, but saying, look here, you need to wake up that people are still watching. They want this place to grow.
Now, you just mentioned that you're very proactive with connecting with your people, your community.
Right.
Let's reverse that. Say somebody wants to get in contact with you and wants to share some issues or plans maybe they have. How would they go about doing that?
I think a person I'm a city council person for the city of Jonesboro. And I think sometimes we as councilmen take this war thing just a little too far. If you get elected in a position, in my personal opinion, you serve the whole entire public, period. They want to get a hold to me, they can always call my cell, or they can call the city, or they can email me at these, all these numbers are, by the way, on the web page for the city. So it's not just because I'm Ward 2, Position 1, that I'm going to sit back and say, well, okay, I'm not going to answer anybody's question. I'm not going to perform for anybody else. And even as of yesterday, I was able to help some people on the other side of town that called me, that knew that, again, once redundantly speaking, that I'm a person that will talk with anybody about any issues. And when I do that, when people contact me, I mean, you can ask the mayor. I will email them and say, John Doe called me, Susie called me, or contacted me. Here's an email, so I can follow up on what they call or email me about. So I think when you represent a town, you represent the whole town, really not just a portion. I think those Ward 2, Ward 1, whatever those wards are, they're just issues that the city did, but you represent this whole community.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Coleman, it's been a pleasure sitting here talking with you today.
Thank you.
I hope that the citizens of Jonesboro have gotten as much as I have out of this. Have a good day.